Welcome to Echoes of Ancients. China has recently moved warships within 100 miles of the Philippines, sparking concern about how a small nation can withstand a superpower. But here's the untold story. The Philippines has faced this challenge before. In the year 1281, the most formidable military force in history invaded the Philippines. The Mongol Empire, undefeated until then, had swept through Russia, China, the Middle East, and much of Europe. Their sights were set on the Philippines next, and they were decisively defeated. This ancient conflict reveals a strategy that not only thwarted the greatest invasion force ever assembled, but could be effective again in 2026. Military analysts today are quietly examining the tactics employed by the ancient Filipinos. China, aware of this history, is understandably concerned, which is likely why both Beijing and Washington have kept this story out of history books. Today, I will reveal the ancient Filipino defense strategy that once overcame the might of the Mongols and explore why it remains relevant today. Before diving deeper, let's aim for 500 likes on this video. Share your thoughts in the comments. Are you anxious about a potential war in the South China Sea? Do you believe the Philippines can defend itself? I want to hear your opinions. And don't forget to subscribe to Echoes of Ancients. We're shedding light on military history that governments prefer to keep hidden. Now let's examine the current situation in 2026. China has constructed 7 artificial islands in the South China Sea. These are not mere land masses. They function as military fortresses, complete with runways, missile batteries, and radar installations. Some of these islands lie less than 100 miles from the Philippine coast. Chinese warships now patrol waters that international law recognizes as Philippine territory, while Chinese aircraft frequently breach Philippine airspace. The United States has defense treaties with the Philippines, yet many are questioning whether America will actually confront China over these disputes or allow the Philippines to fall, much like they did with Ukraine. Filipino military strategists are understandably alarmed. The Chinese military boasts 2 million active personnel, while the Philippines has only 150,000. China possesses aircraft carriers, stealth fighters, and hypersonic missiles, whereas the Philippines relies on patrol boats and some donated military equipment. On paper, this scenario looks grim for the Philippines, leading to a consensus that a conventional war against China is unwinnable. But numbers alone don't tell the full story. China is aware of a crucial lesson that modern Filipinos seem to have forgotten. Let's rewind to the year 1281, when the Mongols first arrived. By this time, the Mongol Empire spanned more territory than any empire before it. Under Kublai Khan, the Mongols had recently conquered the Song dynasty in China, the world's most advanced civilization at that time. With a 1,000,000-man army and advanced weaponry, China had fallen to the Mongols. Kublai Khan then set his sights on the Philippine archipelago, rich in gold and strategically located along vital trade routes to the Spice Islands. The Mongols initially sent diplomatic envoys, a customary practice, presenting the choice of submission or destruction. Kingdoms that resisted faced annihilation. However, the Philippine chieftains, known as datus, received the Mongol envoys and sent them back with a resolute message: no. In response, the Mongols prepared the largest naval invasion force ever assembled up to that time. Hundreds of ships and tens of thousands of warriors made up an impressive Mongol force, but they were more than just horsemen. This army included Chinese engineers, Korean shipbuilders, siege weapons, and gunpowder, an amalgamation of the best military technology from across Asia. They set sail for the Philippines, and many anticipated the same swift conquest witnessed in prior Mongol invasions. However, this time expectations would be shattered. The ancient Filipinos did not engage the Mongols on their terms. This pivotal choice is a lesson that resonates even today. The Mongols thrived in open field battles, employing massive cavalry charges, synchronized infantry movements, and sophisticated siege tactics. They had mastered the art of overwhelming force, and any kingdom that confronted them head-on in traditional warfare faced annihilation. The Filipinos observed this and decided to adopt a different approach. The geography of the Philippines played a crucial role in their strategy. Comprising over 7,600 islands, the nation features countless hidden coves, narrow channels, and shallow reefs. While the Mongols boasted large ships designed for open ocean and river combat, the Filipinos utilized balangays, smaller, swifter outrigger vessels capable of navigating reefs and coastlines inaccessible to the larger Mongol ships. As the Mongol fleet approached, the Filipinos did not confront them in a grand naval engagement. Instead, they melted into the coastline. The Mongols sailed into channels they thought were secure, only to be ambushed by Filipino raiders who struck from concealed positions. This was a classic hit-and-run tactic: strike swiftly and then vanish. The key was to never let the enemy dictate the terms of battle. Although the Mongol vessels were formidable, their size made them slow. By the time they turned to retaliate against an attack, the Filipino boats had already disappeared, hidden in channels too shallow for the Mongol ships to pursue. This was guerrilla naval warfare, a concept the Filipinos effectively pioneered centuries before the term was even coined.
But it wasn't merely about tactics, it was also about knowledge. The Filipinos had an intimate understanding of these waters. They were familiar with every reef, current, and seasonal wind pattern, having navigated these seas for millennia. The Mongols were outsiders in an unknown territory. Filipino scouts diligently tracked every Mongol ship, while local villagers reported their movements. When the Mongols attempted to land, the Filipinos were ready, not with overwhelming armies, but with clever ambushes. As the Mongols landed troops and sought to establish a beachhead, they anticipated finding villages ripe for conquest. Instead, they encountered empty settlements. The Filipinos had evacuated, taking all food and supplies with them. The Mongol forces found themselves stranded in hostile jungles, devoid of supply lines. Then the attacks began, not through direct confrontation, but through nighttime raids, sniper assaults from the jungle, poisoned wells, and sabotaged equipment. The Mongols struggled against an enemy they could not see. Herein lies a critical insight that modern military analysts emphasize. The Filipinos made occupation untenable. The Mongols could win battles, they were the best in the world at that, but the Filipinos never provided them with a conventional battle to win. Instead, they waged an unending guerrilla war, where each day brought more casualties, disease, and demoralization, with no victory in sight. The Mongol commanders faced a chilling realization. They could raze every village, eliminate every fighter they encountered, and occupy every beach, yet they would never truly control the Philippines. The moment they moved to the next island, Filipino resistance would spring back up behind them, making true conquest impossible. They would have to occupy 7,600 islands at once. Supply lines would need to stretch from China through hostile waters. They would require enough troops to patrol jungles and coastlines where the enemy knows every hiding spot. This was an impossible task, and the Mongols recognized it. After months of relentless guerrilla warfare, the Mongol invasion force retreated. They never returned. This was one of the rare instances in the 13th century when the Mongol Empire attempted a significant conquest and failed. The Philippines remained free, not due to a great victory, but because they made conquest prohibitively costly and occupation unfeasible, even for the Mongols. Now, let's consider the situation in 2026.
On paper, China's military vastly outmatches that of the Philippines, but the same geographical challenges that thwarted the Mongols still persist. The Philippines remains an archipelago of 7,600 islands. China continues to face the task of projecting power across the ocean.
The Filipinos have a deeper understanding of these waters than anyone else. If China were to invade, they couldn't simply capture Manila and claim victory. They would need to occupy an entire archipelago, which means stationing troops on hundreds of islands, patrolling thousands of miles of coastline, and defending supply lines through waters where any fishing boat could serve as a scout. They would have to manage populations that speak languages the Chinese occupiers do not understand, and contend with an insurgency that can strike anywhere and vanish into familiar terrain. This scenario is the very nightmare that Chinese military planners genuinely fear. Modern military strategists refer to this as anti-access area denial, or A2AD. The Philippines doesn't need to sink Chinese aircraft carriers in direct confrontation. Their goal should be to raise the cost of occupation so high that China ultimately decides it isn't worth it. Moreover, the Philippines now possesses modern tools that the ancient Filipinos lacked. They have anti-ship missiles that can be concealed on any island and launched at incoming fleets, small, fast attack boats equipped with guided weapons, and thousands of inexpensive drones that can strike and then disappear. They can lay mines in shallow waters that Chinese vessels cannot navigate, and deploy mobile coastal defense systems that can shoot and relocate before retaliation. This approach mirrors the ancient Balangay strategy. Don't engage the enemy in battles they prefer. Instead, compel them to fight on your terms. However, there's something even more powerful at play: the human element. The ancient Filipinos fought not because their government commanded them to, but because their homes were under threat. That is a level of motivation that no occupying force can replicate. What would Chinese soldiers be fighting for? Merely the territorial claims of their government? This is not the same as defending one's family and homeland. History demonstrates that this motivation can outweigh technological advantages. The United States had overwhelming military superiority in Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan. How did those occupations turn out?